Okay, a lot of Marvel stuff. I should bring up that list real quick. Anything from the Marvel list that caught your eye?
So I don't know if you actually saw the Investor Day.
That I didn't. I wanted to watch it before the stream. I just didn't have time. I did.
That's
watch
okay.
videos on it.
There's a lot to digest there, so you got time. You can check it out. What was very interesting was Kevin Feige starts this whole talk about Boseman and honoring his memory and blah 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 and this and that, and his death was such a terrible loss. So we will not be recasting the role of Black Panther. However, there will be we are going ahead with Black Panther 2. And I'm like, any class that might have been ascribed to you by saying you weren't going to recast the character, you just kind of crapped all over by in the same breath announcing the sequel. Nobody is happy with that at all. There's nothing that they can do that anybody is going to be pleased with on that count. That's a big F you to everyone. Yeah.
So do you think they'll maybe try and improve the optics on that? Maybe.
I don't even think they understand the optics of it.
Okay. Well, we got other stuff though. We got WandaVision. You there?
Yeah, WandaVision. I'll be honest with you. Before we get into them individually, let me give you a high level thing. Earlier on, I was saying that as they were ramping up to Endgame, the stakes had to get higher and higher and higher. The city's is in danger, the country's in danger, the world's in danger, the galaxy's in danger, the universe is in danger. Okay, by Endgame. Now they want to take it higher, and now it's become everything is a freaking multiverse. Okay, and everybody is making memes and jokes over on the Spider-Man side about how they're going into the Spider-Verse, and everybody who's ever played Spider-Man is coming back to reprise their role. Everyone who's played a Spider-Man villain is coming back to reprise their role. They were joking that Tom Holland won't even be in it because they don't have enough room for him in the movie anymore. It's Nicholas Hammond will be coming back to reprise his role as Spider-Man. Not really. It's just a joke. But, so everything in this new phase is multiverse. Okay. Alternate histories, alternate timelines. And they've jumped the proverbial shark, in my opinion. I saw it in Endgame, and now they've doubled down and punched light speed.
So I'm noticing people are talking more about the Star Wars news than they are the Marvel news. I get that impression.
Because nobody cares about Marvel has been too quiet for too long. At least The Mandalorian has been keeping Star Wars alive.
I don't know. I like Elizabeth Olsen. I do think she has good screen presence. I forget the actor who plays Vision, but I don't know. I kind of like the idea that what is it? In Endgame, basically, if you think about it, Scarlet Witch kind of got the short end of the stick, right?
Yeah.
And I like the fact that if her powers can now manifest a new reality for her. I don't even know what the plot of this thing is. Okay, and that she ends up messing with the fabric of reality because of all this. Yeah.
What's absolutely implied is some stories from the comic books, right? That because of some things that have happened, her brother died, she wants to bring back the Mind Stone so she can get back the android dude and whatnot.
Vision.
Right. She uses her reality manipulating powers to basically create her own universe, and it's not stable. This was something that was played with in the comics. She's incredibly powerful. And I think they're going to tap into that. And in the comics, they used it as a way of they were going through a period, and it was directly related to the Disney, Marvel ownership not owning the mutants and everything, and she basically wipes out the mutants, and
Oh, I remember hearing about
they
that.
throttled the use of mutants in the comics and so forth because it's still Disney's property. So it's really hard. It was basically Disney's way of girding girding the tree, right?
Mm-hmm.
You kill the roots so that the rest of the tree can't grow, and that's basically what happened to the whole X-Men franchise over at Fox. They killed it because there was no stories in the comics, there was no interest in it anymore, and the movies weren't doing really well to begin with, so it just died. Now they've acquired it, and now there's how do we now incorporate the X-Men. They may be, and most people presume what they're doing is they're going to use Wanda in reverse. She will be partly involved in reshaping the universe going forward. They're basically doing a reboot of the universe, partly with her, partly with the manipulation of Ant-Man and the timelines and Doctor Strange and the multiverse and into the Spider-Verse, and all of that stuff is
so what they're doing, what they did in the comic books to fix issues they have with the current
Loki
MCU
doing his thing and blah 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 blah. Yeah. So what it's going to be is a clusterfuck. It really is. It's everything I've always said that's bad about time travel. They're going to F around with the fabric of the universe, and what used to be very, very well done and elegant in the Marvel universe is just going to become throw everything in a blender and hit what the frack.
Okay, well, yeah, maybe. What I thought the Falcon Winter Soldier show looks interesting.
Let me tell you, I didn't see much of that, but the footage that I saw, what I really liked about that was Falcon. They made his costume look a little bit more like it originally did in the comics. That red and white thing. I was fired up about that. A little bit of fan service went a long way with me on that one.
What's interesting is that he looks like he's not taking up the mantle of Captain America, and he's still Falcon.
I don't know.
Which I thought was interesting. Neither is the Winter Soldier. Neither of them is taking up the mantle, it looks like. So I don't know if maybe he rejected it or doesn't think he's up to it or something. I don't know.
There's another little rumor that's been going around that may be nothing or it may be something, but there has been some rumors that Iron Man and Captain America may not be as completely gone as we've been led to believe. Whether that means they're being recast or what, I don't know. But with all the time travel changing around and stuff,
is that what this What If series is supposed to clear up? How there are all these different realities now? I don't know.
No, What If is directly taken from the comic books. There was a line of comics in Marvel for many, many years called What If.
Okay.
The What Ifs in Marvel comics go back, to the 70s, I think. They've got some. There was like, what if Uncle Ben had lived? What if Sue Storm had died during childbirth? What if Hulk went berserk? What if some of them are very, very tragic, okay? And some of them are really funny. One of them was, what if Aunt May had been bitten by the radioactive spider? It is hysterical.
What?
Yeah, it's meant to be a little tongue in cheek.
Like Aunt May?
Aunt May, like old decrepit Aunt May, gets bitten by the radioactive. Like the radioactive spider, instead of biting Peter, like gets into his backpack and he brings it home, and the spider gets out and bites Aunt May, and she gets all these superpowers, and she goes out as Spider-Woman, right? And she has to hide it from Peter because he's frail and he wouldn't be able to deal with it. He'd be worried about her all the time. And she's got this outfit that she makes for herself that it's just what you would expect a little old woman to do. Like, it's very anachronistic, not like a spandexy type suit. It's like a dress with a bonnet. It's hysterical.
See, if I had been fooling around, it might have been Uncle Ben, the Spider-Man. You know,
Actually, I don't remember them ever doing that kind of a story, but that would have been a good one too.
because I wonder how he would have been. Because I think he might have been more of an aspirational type superhero.
Well, the
Spider-Man, you know, because
what they did was I had mentioned it. What if Uncle Ben had lived? Well, that's what the cover is. But when you actually get into the story, the altered history is it's actually Aunt May that gets killed rather than Uncle Ben. And the way things go differently, it still impacts, you know, Peter the same way, the whole responsibility thing. But now Uncle Ben is there to kind of coach him through the situation, because Uncle Ben, there's this great bit where the story looks like it's going exactly the same way, and he goes out and becomes Spider-Man, and he comes back from fighting crime one day, and Uncle Ben calls him into the kitchen and he says, "We need to talk." And he picks up the tablecloth, and underneath the tablecloth is the Spider-Man outfit.
oh,
And he says, let's talk, son. And he's like, "I appreciate this, and I appreciate what you're doing, and you're absolutely right. It's like I said, with great power comes great responsibility, but you know, you need to temper that with wisdom." And so he coaches him through. He kind of becomes like the Alfred to his Batman, you know.
oh, that'd be neat too. Yeah.
And then
yeah.
when all the stuff happens with what's his name, J. Jonah Jameson,
Mhm.
Ben goes to him and you know, gives him what for, and things go very differently in that regard. It's a very, very interesting story. So in one comic book, you get a whole outline of how history could be different. Sometimes it's better, sometimes it's worse, sometimes it's just a different course. What if Gwen Stacy hadn't died? You know, I mean, there's all kinds of really, really interesting stories that they explore. And so this is just you know, the Marvel Universe version of it, and they're doing it in animation. It looks like rotoscoping animation. It looks very interesting.
We also had Ms. Marvel, and which I'm assuming they're trying to go for the CW audience. I don't know.
Here's the problem with this is why Ms. Marvel, Captain Marvel exist in the comics at all. Okay. They have to keep that character alive in order to keep the name. You know, they are Marvel Comics. They want to keep Captain Marvel. You know, so that's why when nobody cares a fig about Carol Danvers' character, they cancel it, they bring her back. Doesn't matter if those comics sell, as long as she's in production, they keep the rights to that name. That's all they care about. So there's a lot of talk about comics dying, and if comics die, they have to make movies or cartoons or something to keep those characters in their back pocket. Well, and then there's the Armor Wars or whatever it's called.
Oh, War Machine, right?
War Machine, and apparently it explores what happens when Stark technology gets into enemy hands and stuff.
That one I'm least interested in.
I'm pretty sure that was based on something from the comics. I don't know, but I honestly don't care anymore. I really don't.